Okay, so a deal just dropped in that's called Glorify. It's an image designer that's comparable to Canva and Crello. So what I'm gonna do in this video is that I'm going to compare Glorify, Canva, and Crello in these categories: background removal, font, color customization, shapes, templates, and unique features. In this video, I will be covering those points plus how to get around Glorify, because that's the deal that's going on right now. Now, I will be telling you something. My previous 200 thumbnails that I've made for my videos are made with Glorify. That doesn't mean I'm gonna be favorable to Glorify, because it's gonna be an unbiased comparison. Now, I want to let you know that none of these companies that I am comparing, I have nothing to do with them, and I'm not getting paid to make this video. So at the end of the day, you decide if you want to grab Glorify. That's in a lifetime deal right now. Now, if you guys want to grab it, that link will be in the description. If you find this video helpful, do use it. It helps me out with a small commission. So let's jump over to my desktop. Okay, so like I mentioned before, we will be comparing these tools. This is the Glorify dashboard. This is the Crello dashboard, and this is the Canva dashboard. Let's get started with the first feature that we might all want to know: the background removal. How powerful is it? Okay, let's get started with Glorify, and let's drop in the image. Let's go ahead and upload an image right now. Let's drop it in. There it is. And Canva, again, let's drop it in. Okay, let's make it a bit bigger. It's bigger. Okay, and Glorify. Let's make it bigger. There we go. And like I mentioned before, let's test out the first feature that most of us want to know: background removal. So in this case, to remove background, the option for Glorify is right here: remove background. Let's click on that. I'm going to leave it without fast forwarding this, so you understand how long it takes for this feature to work. Like I mentioned before, if you guys want to grab Glorify, that deal is going on right now. The link will be in the description. So it just removed me there, okay? Now, there's several features that Glorify background removal has, and these tools are here on the top left. So let's just say that I want to keep something from this image. Let's just say I want to keep these thumbnails in the background removal, okay? I'm gonna use this little plus button, and I'm gonna click on this section, and it's smart. It kind of automatically grabs that. If I go too far, I'll use the red and I'll remove what I don't want, okay? And it's gonna understand what I want or not. For example, in this case, it's an image that's a little bit more complex. There's a lot of things going on, so let's select like this. And there's a bit here and here, okay? And we're going to view the preview over here, okay? You can see how I'm able to keep some of that background image if I want to keep it, all right? I can zoom in, I can cut, I can drag, I can undo, I can zoom out, I can do a lot of things with this. Now, you saw that. Let's go ahead and click done. It's gonna do it for me. And there we go. I have my background removal. Oh, I should have removed that one there. I can do that also by selecting it. Okay, that is Glorify. Let's go into Crello. Now, a lot of people have this deal, so that's why it's interesting to actually test it out. Remove background. I'm gonna click on it, and it's working, okay? You can see there it's loading. Let's see how long it actually takes for that to load. Now, I will be doing another background removal on Glorify, because I want to show you how you can actually get the background from the, what do you call it? From the logo. Okay, so there we go. It removed the background. Now, what happens if I want to keep something else from the background removal it made? Well, there's no more tools. That's all you could do. You either like it or dislike it. But if you want to keep something else, you can't. If I want to remove this part of the chair, I can't, because there's no other tools. It just removes what it thinks it should be, all right? So if something is in focus, that's what it's going to remove, not something else that you might want to keep, okay? That's it for Crello. Let's go into Canva. Again, Canva, let's go ahead and remove the background. It's edit image, and here it is, remove. My bad, it's in Spanish, but trust me, that's background removal. Okay, so it's doing its job. Let's wait for that to load. And boom, there I am. Okay, and again, What tools does Canva provide us? Well, we can erase something or restore. So in this case, I selected remove, but this type of tool doesn't smart select. If I click on something, it's just going to remove what I select. Did you see that? If I just do one click, it's not gonna smart select a section. So I'm gonna Command C that. And if I want to restore something, so let's just say I want to restore a part of the other places, the thumbnails that I want, well, I have to drag this and then remove what I dislike. With this, there's no smart selection. So in terms of removal, it's a clear winner for Glorify. Like I mentioned before, I'm not getting paid to say anything of this. I decided to make this video and compare these three tools. And basically you can see that Glorify in this section, it's a clear winner, okay? In this case, there's no more tools for this, just the pencil dimension and show original image in case you want to fine tune the removal in this sense. So if you want to do it this way, so you know what's going on, you can do it that way. That's all you could do. Okay, now that I restored the images, let's go into the next step. So again, Glorify, let's start off with fonts. Let me go ahead and remove this quickly. We have simple fonts and then we have template fonts, okay? Let's go ahead and go into simple font right here, okay? Let me open that there. Let's go into Crello. Again, get rid of this. Let's go into text. Again, we have simple fonts and then we have text. Let's go add text right here. Let's make that bigger. Okay, and Canva. Again, delete that. Let's add some text. Again, same type of deal. Simple fonts and then we have templates. Okay, and let's go into Glorify. Okay, first settings that we have for Glorify in terms of text, okay? So first off, we have the fonts available right here. A lot of fonts available. Text settings, we can set obviously the alignment, the font size, the height, letter spacing, opacity for transparency. The border, if we want to have border or not. In this case, it does have one, but we can change the color so we can actually preview it. So if we have a border, we can make it thicker and there's a border, all right? Next thing we have is drop shadow. So if we want to turn that on, this is really useful. I use this a lot. So we have the blur amount if we want to kind of fine tune it there. The opacity. Here we go, the opacity there. And the distance. So this is from top to right and left. Okay, that's the opacity for that. Let's close this. Drop shadow. We also have advanced controls. So position, size, and other from this. Crello terms. Oh, before I forget that, there's the color thing, okay? So we can change the color, but there's something that Crello does. It has gradients, okay? So inside of the font, we have gradient colors. So if I select left, well, we have the colors for that. Choose that there. For example, if I want to change the color for the right, I can do it this way. And we have gradients available there. It's shades and favorite brands. We can choose the way the gradient is going to work. So if I choose this way, it's gonna reverse that in case we want it coming from the top, well, top to bottom or cornered, okay? That's for the colors. Crello. All right, so what options do we have with Crello? Okay, here's the options on the top. Again, we have the fonts available, lots of fonts, size, my bad, clicked away from it. The underline, oh, actually the color. Okay, so here's the color. Again, we can add red, we can do some transparency, we can do color selector, presets, and brand kit, okay? That's all the options I have for that. I don't have the options for gradient. There are other options I will show you in a bit. There's the basic tools, alignments, the animate. That's something that Crello doesn't have, my bad, Glorify doesn't have, because that one doesn't do it videos or short videos. This one does. And those, I will get into that with the unique features. These are the effects that they have. They have the text box, pretty simple stuff. I don't like that. The outline, we can do that. The shadow, these are the fine tuning for the shadow. This one does work okay. The blurring amount, the distance, how far, and the angle. And it's just gonna go around depending on where you want it from the angle, okay? We can add echo, reflection, and glitch. Something that I dislike about this in Crello is that it's one or the other. You either have reflection and you don't have shadow, or you have outline but you don't have shadow, but it's one or the other. I can't turn on both, and that's something that I think it should have. Okay, now Canva, let me show you the settings again. On the top, lots of fonts, size, the colors, so we can choose the colors here. For example, quick colors. If I want to fine tune it here, again, I can choose that, but there is no gradients in this. So let me go into effects just in case you do have it, but no. Again, we have shadows, distance, direction, focus, transparency. If you want something floating without filler inside, disaligned, echo, and again, as same issue with Crello, it's one or the other. You can't use both, okay? If you want to curve that, that's available. Okay, and again, animate, something that Glorify doesn't do. Okay, next step, let's get rid of these. Let's go do shapes now. Okay, let's go into our elements. Let's go into shapes. Let's drag in the square one. And there's also rounded here, okay? There's a square, again, Crello. Let's go into, where's the objects? Here it is. Again, let's drop in the square. There's more available in view them all. See that there? There's also this one, which I will be adding on both, so we know what they can do. Okay, let's add the rounded one because these are pretty useful. Okay, and Canva. Let's go into elements, square. Let's view more. And where's the rounded one? Here it is. Okay, so we got two of them, so we know what they do. Okay, let's start off with Glorify. This is the first square one. We have shape settings. For in this case, we can change colors, border, thickness, radius. So if I want to make it round, I can do that also. Drop shadow for it, and advanced controls. Again, position it where you want it in the Canva. And we can also insert an image inside of here. So let's insert this guy. Did it add it or not? Oh, there we go. Okay, so he's added there. Click done. We can reposition him if we like. Oh, don't want to click. There we go. Okay, forgot to do that there, but you can reposition him. All right, so I inserted an image inside of the shape. For the rounded one, again, we can insert the image, shape settings for the border radius. Basically, it's the same square, but it has the radius already on it. Drop shadows and advanced control. Next thing we want to do is in Crello. All right, so what options do we have here? We have the color settings, again, brand kit or the color that you want to designate. Oh, my bad. We have the border, if you want to make it thicker, smaller, change color, dotted lined, and the color. All right, we want to do corners. So if I want to do corners, this is what it does. Let me remove this so we know what it's doing. There we go. Go back into corners. So it's not rounding the corner, but it's actually doing this. It's making actually corners, not rounded corner. All right. Next thing we have is transparency, the flip, and animate. Again, that's something that Glorify doesn't do. If I click on the rounded square, does it have options to roundness amount? Nope. All right, so that's what you get. That's the roundness it has. And by the looks of it, I can't insert an image inside of here. So that's something that's lacking inside of Crello. Now, Canva. This is the Canva one. Let's go ahead and just click on this one and we can change the colors for this. But those are all the tools and animation, all right? For the square one, again, colors are on the left and no effects for these. That's all that you get with the squares, okay? So we could just move these around if we like and flip them, and that can be done on the other ones also. So pretty basic. Let's go ahead and delete this. Let's go ahead and clean this also. And next thing we want to go into is colors, all right? So if we want to add a background color, I just click on the background. I can go into background, I can select the color, and I can choose the color I want. If I want to make this gradient, I can do this way. Again, as you saw with the text font, we can change the gradient colors and position to it. Crello. All right, if we want to go into the background, where's the backgrounds? Here it is. We have photos. Obviously, we can do that with Glorify. Videos, that's something that can't be done because that one doesn't do videos. And colors. So again, we can select these, but there is no gradient. The workaround for gradients would be to use a photo that's an actual gradient. So if I search for a gradient photo, I can put it there, but I can't tweak it, all right? Canva. All right, so the background colors go into more. Fondo, which is background. We can choose a color here. So solid colors, and again, images. If I want a workaround, I would have to use a gradient search. That way, I would have to do this to actually use a gradient and use an image. So that's something that you'd have to do for the workaround. Okay, for unique features of Glorify, let's get started with this one. We have what you saw already. We have images available, we have shapes, we have icons, we have backgrounds. Again, so you can choose images from this, which you saw already on the other ones. There's branded if you already have that. There's mockups. So if you want to use this is not so powerful. They just came out with this, but a mockup, what it does is that you add one of these and you can change the logo or add something to the screen. But it's actually pretty cool that we have these options available. That's something you wouldn't think that an editor would have, okay? Let's go back. We have brand logos, tools. If you want to add buttons, annotations, for example, for buttons, these are really good for if you want to make some selling type of image, okay? Let's get rid of that. Let's go back. There we go. My bad. Brand logos, buttons, okay. Annotations for the arrows, if you want to point something. There's the blobs. This is pretty useful if you want to create something like unique. If I add a blog, there's a complexity to this. So for example, you can add how many kind of roundness this would have to more complex to less complex, contrast. And these blobs are pretty cool to use in your designs. So for example, if I were to use this, I'll just put it behind the layer, bring it back, and I'll put that there, okay? And you can use blobs like that. All right, the next thing we have is color palettes that help you out with branding, because if you use one of these colors, well, it tells you what type of colors will resonate with your design. Free photos, Pixel Bay, Pexels, and Photo Creator. Icons, Noun Project, and Icons 8. There's a bunch of icons there. Effects and textures. So there's a bunch of things that you can do. Effects and textures right here. So if I want to add some smoke to this, you can add it there and bring it behind that. You can add some transparency and it'll look better, right? There's a lot of effects going on. There's fire, flares, dirt, lightning, water, and a bunch of them. I won't go through all of these because it's going to take too much time. And graphic illustrations by Pixel Bay Illustrations, Pixbay, and Ouch, all right? So those are the tools that are available, like unique features for this. Things that are missing on Glorify. One is that you can't do animation because it doesn't do videos. And second thing that it doesn't do that Crello and Canva has is that they have a mobile application and this one does. So if you have to do designs on the go, then the other deals are better for you. Okay, Crello. What's unique in Crello? Basically, I think Crello is really good, but it has the basic features that you need for an image designer. In terms of finding something special, I think it would be the animations, where you can animate these and download as a video and not as an image. So that's where it shines, all right? And Canva, all right? Canva is been around for a ton of time. I think where they shine and makes it unique is that they have a bunch of templates compared to the other ones. Speaking of templates, Glorify has templates, Crello has templates, but Glorify templates focus on e-commerce, all right? So they're focusing their templates on selling stuff like mockups, selling products. Obviously, you can do image designs of whatever you want, but their templates focus on products. So if you're selling products, this is a really good template library. And if you're looking for general use templates, Crello has a bunch of them also. You can find them here. A lot of fun ones, a lot of good ones to use. But again, Canva beats everyone in this term because they have a bunch of templates. They've been around for so long that obviously they are kings in this, all right? And in terms of mobile app, like I mentioned before, Glorify doesn't have. Crello does have. One thing I dislike about Crello app is that if you design something here, you can't continue on the Crello app on the phone. They are not tied. What I think is they are using different technologies, but at the end of the day, you can at least design on the phone. And Canva does connect one with another, so you can edit on desktop and mobile phone the same design, all right? So those are the features that are going on right now for these three. If you ask my honest opinion is that if you are focusing and you want to fine tune the images, Glorify hands down beats the other two in that sense. And if you're focusing on e-commerce that you need templates for that, obviously Glorify. If you need a mobile app and you need a really solid application for designing, then Crello is the one, and Canva. And if you need videos, then you need Crello or Canva. But if you want to focus on image and have a lot of tools for it, Glorify would be the one to go. Like I mentioned before this video, my previous 200 videos that I've made, the thumbnails that I'm using there are made with Glorify. Why? Because I find it easier to use and it saves me time. I'd rather use this than my Adobe Photoshop subscription because I do everything faster here. Obviously, there are tools that it doesn't have because Photoshop is king in desktop application, but it saves me time and I do it here. In terms of Crello, well, my wife uses this mostly because she likes to design on phone and she finds herself finding it easier to make designs here. So she uses Crello and Canva, and I use Glorify. So these three are fantastic apps, but as you can see, this one has more tools and you can fine tune the image even better. So if you ask my honest opinion, I would stick to Glorify. Unless you need to use the application on your phone, then I would suggest using the other ones. Well, like I mentioned before, there's a deal going on for Glorify right now, which you can grab in the lifetime deal. That link will be in the description in case you guys want to grab it. If you find this video helpful, I do appreciate it because it provides me a small commission. So I thank y'all for watching. My name is George. This is SaaS Master, and I'll see you guys later.